The night's
Ladies
still
and
young.
gentlemen.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, it is. God, wow.
Wow,
This is-
I take a week off and then I'm just fucking everything up.
I love how completely unprofessional the distraction hole is. Speaking of, welcome. You've fallen into the distraction hole. I'm your host this week, Kevin. Optimus Prime is my co-pilot. With me this week are Magical Mike. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm a meat popsicle, so I'm okay.
Awesome. And we've got Dapper David. David, how are you?
I am okay.
Wow, we're some okay fucks.
You know, that's not a bad thing though. Like it's
No,
better to
I
just
mean,
be okay than to.
I'd rather hear okay than, oh, I pray for the sweet release of death.
Yeah, I mean, my skin's growing back. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, again, we're still on the skin growing back thing. If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to the latest episode of Supernatural Selection. Again, David is a victim of his own private Dr. Pitbull popper.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, it's been a week.
Or two.
It's been
Several.
2 weeks.
Actually, it's been more than that since Distraction Hole.
That's true. It's been a while.
It's been
a
3
while.
weeks. Sorry.
It's been. So, we've been distracting ourselves for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to... What I've been doing is I've been distracting myself with podcasts.
Oh.
And I'd like to talk about that a bit.
Okay.
Now, it's no stretch to say that I think you and me both, David, took a lot of inspiration from last podcast on the left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they're kind of going through a thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have had to part ways with one Benjamin Grant Kissel. And it turns out Ben is way problematic. And David, I know you haven't been listening since we started the Supernat pod, but I want to tell you that listening with Ed Larson in Ben's place, it's like it's magical again.
Yeah, I've always loved Ed. Ed, especially back in the Round Table of Gentlemen days.
Oh my God, yeah, no, it's kind of like the Round Table of Gentlemen, and it's also like back when Ben would listen to what Marcus and Henry were saying.
Well, you know, Ed is kind of, not to be reductivist, but he's kind of like a blend if you took Henry and put him in the body of Ben.
He is, and he's also, his cousin is Jeffrey Ross, the comedian and the guy from all the...
roasts.
Yes, from all the Comedy Central roasts. Mike, you remember Jeff Ross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this Ed Larson's his cousin, and he writes for him. And he worked on, like, his TV show for a while. They're both big on roasting. And, like, in one of his first episodes on the show, he actually, while ribbing on Henry, goes, "How are things at the Lollipop Guild?" And I fucking lost my shit. So, it's like the podcast has come back alive.
Yeah, I do intend to, like, listen eventually. It's just, ever since we started doing this, like, seriously, which I don't know when we kind of started doing it seriously, I've tried to, like, limit myself to other podcasts that might influence things. Like, just now, we did a episode on, like, the Electric Universe and the Saturn Death Cult. Another podcast / YouTube channel, which will not be named, you know the one I'm talking about.
I do.
He just literally covered the same subject.
We are on the fucking edge of the zeitgeist.
Yeah, so it's that's why I've kind of dialed back from that stuff. Now I get my supernatural fix from shitty documentaries on Pluto TV.
I mean, it makes sense because, you just don't want to end up even subliminally copying someone.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens.
Well, I listen to it still, but it amazes me because I'll be like, hey, we just did that one like 2 weeks ago on last podcast.
Yeah, didn't we do La Llorona, and then like a couple weeks later, last podcast covered it?
And then we did Mothman, and the very next week they did, we did a redux of Mothman, and then the very next week they did a redux of Mothman.
Yeah, I can't even tell you what they're doing right now on last podcast. That's like how
it's serial. Yeah, they're doing serial killer. They're doing the guy that killed Versace.
Oh, Cunanan? Or
Yeah, or
Cunanan?
his kid. Yeah, Henry keeps calling him Cunani.
Oh,
As
that's
a
perfect. I love that.
yeah, as a reference to Steven Seagal's blues album where he sings with the Jamaican accent, talking about loving the Punani.
Thought you were going to say it was QAnon.
Oh God,
Right.
Jesus, I really no, but so I've been listening to that, but I also have discovered this great podcast through a friend of ours. It's called The Greatest Generation, and it is not about World War II. It is a rewatch podcast of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and eventually the rest of the shows. And it is really fucking amusing. There's a lot of in-jokes. Oh my God. There's this long-running reference to Picard grooming Wesley. And they've got this, every time they mention Wesley, there's this sting with Picard going, the boy, and then it plays, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, and other people going, young Wesley, and then and then you hear Beverly go, my son.
No, it's Baker Street, right?
Yeah, Baker Street's the song they use. But then,
Oh yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Not Careless Whisper.
No,
which is
keep
what you
going,
were
keep
doing.
going.
Yeah. I was just going to say, the way Beverly goes, my son, it sounds like something from one of those Pornhub videos that makes you question the American family.
Oh, I'm stuck in the washing machine again.
Yeah. Oh, stepladder. Yeah.
Oh, since you broached the topic of podcasts and stuff, Mike, are there any podcasts that you've been listening to?
So when I did like night security and stuff, I listened to a lot of podcasts. Like I introduced Kevin to the F Plus.
Oh, and I love the F+.
And
we'll talk about that in a minute.
and there was a few like the Tested, Adam Savage's Tested podcast and stuff like that. But I really, since I don't have a whole lot of time to kill like that anymore, I just don't. Like if I'm unable to go to sleep, there's a couple of podcasts that I will put on.
Well, like which ones?
So, mostly it'll be, what's the name of that one?
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
No, God, no. It's, Knowledge Fight.
Ah,
It's the-
yes.
The
The InfoWars show, yeah.
And, others. Just because it's interesting enough to listen to, but not so interesting I want to stay awake and listen to it.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
And the Tested podcast was the same way. It's just, people talking about something that I can half listen to and just
Fall asleep.
because if it's a funny podcast, I'm gonna laugh and that's gonna wake me up. So it's got to be interesting yet slightly boring.
Yeah. No, I get you. That's why I put on the Bob Ross channel whenever I want to fall asleep.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm doing something monotonous at work lately, though, I have listened to Adam Conover's podcast.
Now, what is that?
Podcast. Remember Adam from Adam Ruins Everything?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Hey,
No,
he's a
it's
decent guy.
fine. It's
But
Yeah,
fine.
no, he definitely
Isn't he
plays
on-
up the character a little bit.
Isn't that on Maximum Fun?
No, it's Headgum.
Okay. I know Adam Ruins Everything used
Oh.
to be on
That
Maximum Fun.
it was on.
He had a show on Comedy Central.
Yeah, it was.
But
It was. No, I thought it was like on HBO or something.
No,
like that.
Adam Ruins Everything. That was on True TV, I think.
Well, I think it
it
probably
was-
bounced around.
yeah.
you're
was like
both
a
wrong. It was
small-
on Oprah's network. No.
Oh,
But no, and he does some interesting topics.
Yeah.
Like he has like a lot of book authors on that did very specific books. Like one was this lady that did a book all about vendor cart hot dogs, which was a lot more interesting than you'd expect. It to be.
No, it's
I know who you're
about as
talking
interesting
about.
as I would expect.
It's Jamie Loftus.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's funny you're mentioning all these different shows, and you keep mentioning people who are like, well, there's like this kind of like incestual network of podcast people.
There really is.
Yeah, so for example, you just mentioned Jamie Loftus, who is on a podcast that I listen to frequently, or she's a frequent guest on the podcast. And then Kevin, you had mentioned someone who was also a frequent guest of one of the podcasts that I still listen to, which is Behind the Bastards.
Oh yeah, no, we're both huge fans of Behind the Bastards.
Yeah,
And so Kevin, what's the podcast that he listens to a podcast, and I recognize some voices on there from because I watch News.
That was Behind the Bastards.
Behind the Bastards.
Yeah, they're on there frequently.
Cody Johnston and Katie Stoll.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah,
I've actually started watching some more news because of Behind the Bastards.
and then the guys who do that Alex Jones podcast, Knowledge Fight, they're on Behind the Bastards a lot as well.
Yeah, they were on the Alex Jones
Yeah.
episodes.
Of course, you get you some stuff straight from the source.
Indeed.
But as far as like the podcast, there's only really two that I listen to. I mean, I listen to ours. Like I haven't finished the last Week in Weird where I was missing, but as I was listening to it, I was chiming in with jokes, and let me tell you, there were some real bangers that you're never going to be able to hear.
Every time you're off, I always feel bad because you go back and listen. I just picture you like sitting there like a dog hearing a recording of its lost master.
It's kind of mental illness at this point, because I'll have a full-on conversation with you motherfuckers while I'm listening.
Oh wow. No. Oh God, we need to get you on some medication.
No, but as far as like the only podcasts I listen to right now, obviously Behind the Bastards, I think for my money, Behind the Bastards is the best podcast ever made.
It's pretty darn high up there, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and I would probably listen to Behind the Bastards because I've enjoyed what I've heard from Kevin when he listens to it. But I already have so many other podcasts I don't listen to that, I don't want another podcast I don't listen to.
well, and I usually save my podcasting listening when I'm working on illustrations or stuff, because I'll have the podcast open as I work in Photoshop. The only other podcast I'm listening to right now is the Abroad in Japan podcast as well. That's about it. That's about all I'm doing.
I got kind of a list here. I'm listening to Greatest Generation actively. Behind the Bastards, I've been gradually going through the back catalog, but I'm listening to the current ones, of course.
Yeah.
Last Podcast. I don't actually listen to Us because I have to experience it and then edit it. So I don't really listen to Us that often.
Yeah, it's the same thing like with me, like recording and editing. I don't really listen to the distraction hole because I have to listen to so much of it. And there are times where I have to listen to you guys over and over and over again to make sure the edit's right.
I know.
Yeah, I've edited stuff before, and I remember that.
You get sick of it.
Yeah.
But as far as like super active that I'll listen to besides those is the F+. Terrible Things, read with enthusiasm. I mean, it's just, it's old school. They read websites and forums and various other things with overly dramatic readings that are terribly amusing. They started off reading this stuff in, what was it, Mike? Like Counter-Strike or something?
Oh, yeah, they would was it Team Fortress?
It was
too?
Team Fortress.
Yeah,
and
they would just do these whole shows like in voice chat of Team Fortress 2, and they just kind of graduated from there.
Yeah, and they used to be on, what was it called? portalofhell.com was where they all met. Portal of Evil.
Yeah, POE.
Yeah, Portal of Evil.
Yeah.
And also a lot of them are Something Awful alum too.
Oh yeah,
because, you couldn't just be on one thing.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. The thread about the F+ on Something Awful, when someone will say something about an episode, and one of the the readers will pop in and be like, "Go fuck yourself." So, and besides that, really, the Haunted Objects podcast.
Yeah, I need to continue watching that on YouTube. Yeah.
When that's in season, it's great. So, really enjoy it. I mean, there's others I'm subscribed to, but I don't listen to as regularly, like What's It Called with Dave Ross and Caleb Synan. That's just a funny when they talk and then rename stuff.
I do want to fit a Spooky Dice Bag into my schedule, and then of course I'll listen to Flag for Content, friend of the show, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to go back. It's just Spooky Dice Bag has a lot of episodes, and I gotta finish catching up on others, and then I'm gonna catch back up, which is terrible because I'm on the fucking show.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it, man. I get it. Like, there's only so many hours in a day. You know what I mean?
Right. Speaking of, Kick-Assatron threw a Shoggoth at me this time today, and I'm just like, motherfucker.
You know, they should turn that into a shirt. Get Shoggoth, motherfucker.
That would be good.
So you want to hear the podcasts I'm subscribed to?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
So the ones I have in my Google podcast app, which Google's discontinuing those motherfuckers.
What?
They're rolling it into YouTube Music.
Son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah,
this is why I
they're
started
trying to-
listening on Spotify again.
Trying to Katamari everything together.
Assholes.
But anyway, so I have Brad and Will Make a Tech Podcast, which I really haven't listened to, but it's one of the guys from originally the Tested podcast. It's Will Smith, not that Will Smith. the
Oh,
other
I
Will
remember
Smith.
him. The white Will Smith.
Yeah, White Will Smith. And Brad Shoemaker.
Kind of like White Christ.
Yeah, but, tech podcast, right up my alley. Factually, you already covered that.
Yep.
Flag for Content, that was kind of a, not really pity subscribe, but a solidarity subscribe.
Yes, a solidarity. God, I wish you hadn't said that.
That's why I said not really a
Not
pity.
really. Okay, good. A
Well, we know who's
solidarity
never going to be a
subscription.
guest on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
my
only going to
God.
get 2/3 of the Supernatural Selection crew.
Wow. So I don't remember how I became aware of this one, but Free to a Good Home. It's two guys, Michael Heng and Ben Jenkins, invite their guests to trawl through the classifieds with them.
That
seems
sounds
interesting.
fun.
Knowledge Fight, of course. Midnight Local. So that's a podcast from the guy he does a YouTube channel called How to Drink.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he does bar stuff and things like that. It's him and his behind the camera producer. They're doing a podcast about like movies and stuff like that, just talking about bullshit, kind of like this podcast.
Yeah.
QAnon Anonymous.
I love the title, QAnon Anon.
Yeah, it's just talking about QAnon shit. Another one of those like Knowledge Fight.
Yeah.
Ran When Parked. That is the podcast from
Kurt J. Mack.
Yeah, Kurt J. Mack and
Cone Dodger.
Cone Dodger. Yes.
Yeah, two guys, old school YouTubers. Kurt is a guy that does Farlands or Bust, where like a decade ago or more, he started at his spawn site in Minecraft and just started walking to the part where the game breaks.
Back when that was a thing.
Yeah, he's using an old version of Minecraft, so it's still broken, and has been walking to the Farlands ever since.
It's over. Wow.
What?
Yeah. Well, it says Series 1 finale, so maybe it'll be back. But so it was a kind of car-centric podcast because they're both kind of car.
Oh, the car podcast is
Oh,
over.
yeah, no, not Minecraft.
Man.
Not Farlands or Bust.
Jesus, I was about to panic there.
Ran When Parked podcast. It said,
Yeah.
I was just looking at it for the description. It says Series 1 finale, so maybe they're taking a hiatus or something. I'd have to...
Maybe they're doing it like Brits.
maybe. Some more news, which there's some more news. They have their YouTube
And then
episodes
even more news.
as a podcast, and then they have even more news, which is exclusively podcast. Some more. This one's kind of aspirational. I'd like to listen to it more, but I don't. Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, Mr. Buzzkill?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Buzzkill, but I mean, I understand it
Science
sucks.
Man.
It sucks when you're right.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Still.
Look, I grew up with Pluto as a planet as well, and I do
It's
admit
not that. It's not that. It's just, let me enjoy the movie, motherfucker.
he come on, like you don't point out shit things in movies.
I do, but when I do it, it's charming.
No, it's not. This really shitty podcast called Supernatural Selection. Don't know why
Who the
that's
fuck would listen to that? Jesus.
Wow.
one I got from my Discord friends. We hate movies.
I've heard of that.
supposed to be really good. And another aspirational one I just have not listened to, but want to. Writing Excuses. It's Brandon Sanderson's podcast.
yeah.
He's a Brandon Sanderson, very prolific writer. He's about my age.
He's a robot.
He's written more books than like there's authors in their 80s that are like considered, prolific authors that have not written as much as Brandon Sanderson.
It reminds me of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. I've written more books than I've ever read.
Yes. Yeah, that's Brandon Sanderson in a nutshell.
Like, look, during the pandemic, when he didn't have to go on signing tours and stuff, he accidentally wrote something like 8 books.
Yeah.
Oops, my pen slipped.
Yeah.
I think I saw a video where he kind of like unveiled that, and it was just funny how long that video went on. Oh, and by the way, there's this one and this one.
It's like, so I wrote one. So during the pandemic, I wrote 1 book. Well, actually, it was 2 books. Well, actually, it was 3 books.
Yeah,
no, really, it was 4 books. It just kept going. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, no.
You're Mormon. Aren't you supposed to be like having kids?
I think
Yes, he does have a lot of kids
I think
too.
this is his I think that's why he's doing it. The motherfucker's writing with the rhythm method.
I wonder if
Mike.
there's a refractory period for authors.
I don't know. I wish he'd bask in the afterglow for a minute. Jesus.
Brandon, if you ever hear this, I'm sorry. I love you, but that was
Calm. Yeah, you gotta calm down, dude. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I don't know. I got others on the list, like lore. I'll go back and catch up on every now and again. But there are times where, as much as I love Aaron Mankey's lore, there are times where I'm like, God, I want to hit you for some reason. Just something about your voice makes me want to hit you. Good show, though. Mm-hmm. Not the Amazon series, but the podcast. The Amazon series just wasn't good.
interesting.
Yeah, it was a drama show. He provided some narration, and then the second season, they just abandoned all pretense of it being based on the podcast.
That sucks.
He wasn't even involved.
I mean, that double sucks.
Yeah. That's why it got canceled.
Well, swings and roundabouts, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And also, that same podcast network that I turned down is still trying to get us to join.
The one with the
Prego Pals or whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, they're still trying to get us to join.
I thought they would go away when you told them our subscriber numbers.
Yeah, I thought so too when I told them we had tens of subscribers, but apparently not.
Maybe their numbers are inflated.
Maybe they're desperate. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be curious. You got to put me in the loop in that conversation. Like, forward me what they're saying because I'm intrigued at this point.
A lot of it now seems like it's automated stuff, but I'll still find some and send them to you, and you can tell me what you think. Yeah. So. Anyway, that's what I've been distracting myself with is podcasts and Star Trek. So
now here's the thing. Before we started recording, we were trying to determine the order in which we do things, and we decided that I was going to go first.
Oh, son of a bitch!
So you completely fucked it up.
Wow, this is like a Ramones show.
Exactly. They
I don't want to play down in the basement.
I was wondering what was going on.
I
wasn't going to say anything because
I'm always willing to say something because I love pointing out people's faults.
God, I am a terrible human being.
Well, I don't say anything because I know Kevin will beat himself up for the next 5 days with it.
I'm gonna be doing that for the next few days.
Oh no, it was funny. It was
yeah,
funny. Everybody's gonna have a big laugh about it, except
That's
you.
Okay.
You're gonna feel bad about it, but everybody else.
I'm just gonna go be a flagellant in the corner with my mental whips.
I mean, just beat your meat about it then. You're gonna beat something.
I'm gonna beat my meat so hard my leg's gonna go to sleep.
Jesus
anyway,
Christ.
Hey. So, David, you want to go next, or Mike, do you want to go next?
I guess it's up in the air at this point. Jesus.
So I guess I'll let David go since he's feeling a little cock blocked.
Yeah, sorry I gave you blue balls there.
No, it's okay. It was fine. It was very funny to me that we had gone through the effort to figure out the order.
And I just completely forgot and ran with it.
Oh, boy.
Optimus Prime, you led me astray. How could you?
I'm just plastic, boy.
Oh boy. So yeah. I've plugged in about 170 hours into Starfield, so I feel like I can accurately assess the game in its entirety.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing it since launch pretty consistently. I haven't played in about a week because I finally kind of realized it needs a lot more work.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, that's Bethesda. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yep,
fair.
that is definitely Bethesda.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's a Bethesda game.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, for all the interesting stuff that it does, it still has a lot of those faults. So yeah, I mean, I don't want this to be like just a bitch session about like what I want them to update or change. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about like some interesting stuff, and I think at this point spoilers are fine because we're far enough away. So
Yeah.
I mean, I maybe we could start by you guys asking me questions about it.
Is it fun?
Yes and no.
Wow.
So the initial thrust of the game is interesting, and I had a lot of fun. My favorite thing to do is literally just take bounty missions or search for like pirate strongholds and just kill pirates.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
no, that was
you
one
know-
of the first missions in there.
Yeah, the game is at its best when it's a first-person shooter, which it's not even that great of a first-person shooter.
Oh, damn.
It's very basic. It's very bare bones. Like the only real gimmick aside from the weapons having like special procs or whatever is you have the jetpack, and that can change things up a little bit. Yeah.
It just didn't grab me as much as like Fallout 4 did.
I feel the same way. I was like, I wish this was better.
It's
Fallout
a couple
4
steps back from Fallout 4, which is
Fallout
weird.
4
It
mechanically,
kinda
like
is.
just
Ooh. Sorry
hello
about
Windows.
that. Sorry
But
about
no,
that.
Fallout 4 mechanically. I mean, not saying Starfield's bad, but Fallout 4 was a better like shooter. Like it just felt
Yeah.
tighter.
Like I don't think Starfield is bad at all. I mean, I didn't pay for it. I got it through Game Pass, so I got my money's worth. I mean, I plugged a fucking 170 hours into it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that
Yeah.
with a game that's awful.
It was good enough to play.
It just my issue with it is that it feels incomplete in a lot of ways.
And I'm assuming they're going to announce some like, game season pass DLC, and that's probably the stuff that, would have made it complete.
Yeah, like also from what I gathered from like the development history, the reason why I like the aesthetic of the game is the whole NASA punk aspect, where it's very like
Right.
it's meant to be fairly realistic. And part of that in the original design for the game was that like resources were going to be very important to you being able to travel. Like if you wanted to travel to the other side of this cluster, you would need to have some sort of mining facility for helium-3.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be baked in, and outposts were supposed to be more important in that regard because you need those resources. At this point, outposts are useless. Like there's it's an interesting system that like you do nothing with, and it doesn't even matter in the long run because of the new Game Plus system. And it's just all these little things that just feel like they just kind of stopped development just to get the
Right.
game out there. A lot of the faction quests feel the same way. A lot of the quest lines and everything like that. And then, like, I like the concept behind how they're doing the new Game Plus, but it just makes everything pointless in the long run, which, like, it matches the narrative themes that they're going with in the story. So do you guys know how the new Game Plus works in this?
So
No.
I've heard a rough sketch that it's basically a what you call it? You shift realities.
You
slip
step into a
another,
new universe.
Yeah, another new universe, but it's. But
Yeah.
is it? But does it like reset everything to zero?
So what happens is, in the initial story, you end up encountering these people who are called Starborn, and they are other people who have traveled from other universes, and you find out that these Starborn are competing for these artifacts, and these artifacts take you to this singularity that allows you to transition to another universe. When you step into the first time you do New Game Plus, you suddenly become Starborn. So you get their technology, you get their ship, and everything resets because you're in a new universe. And then sometimes the universe has little tweaks. For example, sometimes you might run into a universe where you are already there, and you can recruit yourself as a companion.
That's funny.
Okay, that is
Right.
funny.
So what I've heard is that the first New Game Plus is actually handcrafted, but
Yeah.
subsequent ones are random.
Yes, and there's like maybe I think like 10 total different scenarios.
My God.
But even then, like, it doesn't change a whole lot because the universe is basically identical. You can do the same quests over again. Whatever flavor that's involved with the new version of Constellation you deal with, that's about as much as it's limited to. So it's one of those things where, like, when I play, number one, the grind in the game is ridiculous, especially with the artifacts. Because number one, I think adding the powers was the worst decision that Bethesda did. Because you basically get like Dragonborn powers from Skyrim, but in Starfield. It just tonally does not make sense to me.
Gotcha.
But I end up collecting all those freaking powers anyway because I'm a completionist, and it just bogs down the game for me.
Yeah, I've heard that the temples you get them from can be a slog.
Oh yeah, no, the temple. I don't understand why they went with that mini game for the temple. It's basically
I haven't encountered one myself, but this is what I've just picked up from the internets.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, you're not really selling me on this game here.
Well, you know,
and
and
I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it.
Well, you know, and here's the thing. Like, I'm bitching a lot about it, but again, I put
He
close to
enjoyed it
200
enough.
hours
Yeah.
into this game. You know, and
Yeah, that's fair.
And the other thing is, I'm also looking at it from the point of view of potential, like, say, 10 years down the line. Like, say, you know, Skyrim, for example, it launched fairly well, but ultimately it got better over time through, like, mods and changes. And I think
and the
that's...
anniversary edition and the
Yeah.
special edition and all that stuff, yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen with Starfield.
And I still play fucking Skyrim
Yeah.
because I am apparently on the spectrum. So
Yeah. Well, no, and I think Starfield in the long run is going to be Skyrim. I think that they're going to...
They'll fix it, and mods will fix it.
You know, and the other thing is, like, again, I feel like part of the problem is so much of the game feels incomplete. Like, for example, one of my biggest gripes about the game is how inventory is managed.
I did not like the inventory system at all when I played.
So you don't know how much total stuff you have when you're buying from a vendor. There's no way of checking how much you have, you know, for example, on your ship, in your inventory, and then in the various lockboxes around the galaxy. You know, that it's just it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And the interface, it doesn't make sense why they only have 2 columns here. They could have easily done like 6 columns for the different figures. It's
Right.
strange. There's a lot of really weird decisions that they made.
So I understand like some not caveats or concessions, what I'm looking for. Some
Compromises?
no I can't think of the word.
Wankel rotary engine.
Yes. But anyway, I understand some of the design decisions they made. Like they're not being faster than light communication, which I think makes things interesting.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
but-
Like, especially how it works with currency in the game.
But your ship should know like everything, because like all the inventory you have and even all the inventory you have in other places, that's not going to change unless you change it. So it should know.
Yeah.
And you have a fucking watch that could, tell you all this shit. So there's no reason to have that information not accessible to you at all times, like in merchant screens and things like that.
Or even like planetary surveys. Like, just having to rescan the same fucking planets over and over again.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Like when you go New Game Plus, like you lose everything.
That's insane.
So any of your outposts, any of your ships, like that stuff I understand.
Yeah.
But your database of, and then also like the fact that there's no accessible database, like if you're playing in one universe for a while and you want to find a certain creature, you should be able to open up your fucking database and search for that creature. And they don't have that.
Yeah.
Well, so what I would like to see is you be able to do that, but then find out it's wrong because you're in a whole nother universe and that shit just, Mandela affected differently.
That would be cool too. I would love that.
Like you open your database, you say, "Oh, this planet has the freaking moss reindeer I'm looking for." You go there and find out, "Oh, there's no moss reindeer here because this planet is now a barren wasteland because it's a different universe."
Somebody pissed here once.
Yeah,
They aren't that ambitious though. Because a lot of the planets, it's a lot of procedural generation to very kind of like basic landscapes, and then there's maybe like 100 points of interest that they have total, and you'll end up running across the same places kind of like over and over again. So if I had to think about stuff that I want to see them fix, that I think would just make that would solve a lot of my issues. Better inventory system.
Let me tell you why that's not going to happen real quick before you go to the next one.
Go for it.
Because every game Bethesda comes out with has a shitty inventory system, and the first mods to come out for every fucking game is the first two mods are improved UI and improved inventory system.
No.
Followed by tits.
I was going to say that's the first mod that comes out is tits on insert animal here.
No, seriously, it's always the menu and then the tits.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to store stuff, the sexy clothes, to put on your big boobed avatar.
Or mud crab.
Or a mud crab, yes.
Yeah. No, but like, like the Xbox doesn't have the mod stuff yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'm sure the modders are going to take care of a lot of this stuff for me if Bethesda doesn't. But, like, at the very least, they should go in and fix the inventory issue. Secondly, you should be able to save blueprints for ships. You may not be able to, like, carry the ship over, but you should be able to save the blueprint of a ship you've designed. That way you can rebuild it when you move into the next universe.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think they should also generate, if they're going to be patching this game in the future, like either through expansions or content patches, I think doing maybe like a dozen new points of interest with each pass or with each patch would really help out. And the points of interest don't have to be hugely elaborate because of the way that the outpost system works. You should they should just be able to create outposts like that. Throw some pirates or some cultists in it. And then, populate the list a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think those are the main things for me. It's, again, I've had a lot of fun with it, but now that Diablo has started with its second season, I'm back on that one. I haven't really been looking back at Starfield because, I think, because I haven't even finished my first New Game Plus playthrough because eventually I just got, tired of that grind.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear a criticism I have? I agree with a lot of things you said. Those are problems, but here's the thing. So I think it's a problem with Bethesda, either its engine or just its game design. And it was fine for Skyrim, which I'm assuming had the same problem. It was fine for Fallout series because it fits with its kind of theme. but it's very evident in Starfield. The game world feels like there's about 400 people in it. Like total. That's all the people that are in this world. Like it doesn't feel like thousands or millions. It feels like there's just a couple of hundred people in this world and that's it.
Yeah. Because when you read about like how many people are supposed to actually be in Aquila City, you're like, well, that doesn't. Yeah. But I can deal with that. Like I can use my imagination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just so barren. Like,
Yeah.
Like even, things like I understand, because, Earth is all fucked up, but even like the moon or Mars, it sounds like there should be more people and there's just like dozens of them.
Yeah. That is an issue. I don't think. See, it almost seems like maybe they should have, because they're like, oh yeah, there's 1,000 planets to explore. Well, maybe cut it to 250 planets and make them more interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of like No Man's Sky. The problem with look, another kind of cow.
Well, yeah, with No Man's Sky, it's supposed to be like, they're all things you're discovering and things. So
yeah, I know.
Sure,
but you know what I mean, though.
It's you're finding this, the same cow, but it has like a horn growing out of its asshole instead of its head. So.
Oh, also the companions suck.
That's most Bethesda games, I think, but in this one, I've heard it's bad.
At least in some of the other games, you can have like a companion who's a little nuts. That like isn't gonna be morally uptight about things, especially if you want to play like a more like renegade kind of.
Sure.
But, oh my god, the companions in this. Oh,
that was an idea I had earlier. Like, you were saying, the moral thing is what I was angling towards. So, what would have been really interesting if in New Game Plus they had kind of flipped it. So they had basically had, they've had karma systems before. Kind of have a behind the scenes karma system and figure out, where you lie in the spectrum, like either good or evil. And, a universe you go to, it's basically flipped. So basically you're going to the, Star Trek,
everybody
goatee
has a
universe.
goatee, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the evil universe if you're a good guy, and all of a sudden you're, if you're not murdering and stealing things all the time, you're looked at suspectly and like killed on sight.
I don't know. I don't trust Bethesda to do anything.
I
like
know.
that
I don't trust Bethesda, but I think that's an interesting idea.
Oh yeah,
That could go in a game.
In another developer's hands, totally. But like it's
Sure.
part of the reason. Like everything. The other thing about Starfield is it's very vanilla. So for example, on Neon, that's supposed to be this drug-addicted, hedonistic.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I've never made it to Neon, but I've heard
what
stories.
Yeah,
what?
so it's just like, for example, like the way that the game treats addiction and drugs is very just like PG-13. The dancers are wearing this like weird full body spandex. The way that the game treats like sex, for example, is very like PG-13.
It's like Star Trek Dangerous Planet.
Yes. It feels very much like something out of Star Trek. And then
I understand, Kevin, that Dangerous Drug Planet in Picard was more gritty than this.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like the space pirate quest line, the Crimson Fleet. The pirates themselves were awful, like not at all interesting, just not good piracy, which is it's like so if you want to play a pirate, at least make it compelling for us, and they didn't really do that. I don't know, like all the storylines kind of there's only like 2 storylines I think were like legitimately like had me in their grasp. One was with the United Colonies, the main storyline for that one, and then the other one was the corporate storyline where you're like a corporate fixer. Because that one was fun. That one was a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Because I went with my character was like a cyber runner, So here I am doing like cyberpunk shit on Neon, and it was fun. It was neat. It was one of the highlights of the game for me. The only other like real highlight that I do want to mention is I was in the middle of creating an outpost. I don't know why. I think I was farming something to make some weapons. But as I was putting together my outpost, all of a sudden one of my generators explodes. And then I find out that, oh shit, there's a band of 12 mercenaries on my position coming to get me. And that was like the most fun I had in the game, was all of a sudden like, oh, these guys are trying to gank me.
Wow.
And I wish there was more of that.
You know, all this talk of Starfield really makes me want to go play Skyrim.
You know, and I don't blame you. I think Starfield has a good future ahead of it, though.
But not right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to need a little work. I know that the mod community is going to take care of a lot of that. But I really hope Bethesda realizes, like, oh, no, we need to step in and actually, like, fix the base product.
Yeah.
I think maybe they went into this, like, relying on the modders to fix shit.
Yeah, go for it, Mike.
I was gonna say this had a very long incubation time. I think it was just kind of a, we just had a Fallout product. Mm-hmm. We don't have a Skyrim product. This is next on the schedule. We just have to get it out.
And the other thing is they cut so much. The game was going to be a lot harder and a lot more survival oriented from what I've seen.
That's what I've heard. I heard when it was first coming out.
Because all the systems are in place. You could see these systems, the way that the suit protection works. The way, the whole outpost system. The fact that you would have had to have, set up outposts to mine these materials. And I wish that was the version of the game that came out. Because the other thing is, the way that the game works, like when you land on a planet, you go through a loading screen. The game doesn't actually need to do that. I remember jumping onto a ship and the ship took off without me because I was gonna take over the ship. The ship took off with me on it, and I literally ended up going into space, orbiting the planet, and then the ship got shot by the United Colonies and I died. But there was no loading screen. I was literally able to go from the surface of the planet to space.
Here's what I understand is some modders have, so you know how on a planet that you're in kind of artificially defined areas, you can't traverse between them. Mm-hmm. So modders have taken that out, and you can basically roam the whole planet. The problem is you start having memory leaks when it starts loading too much and the game crashes. So I think these artificial like loading screens, because yes, early on they said, seamless, planet to, space transitions.
So you think this is like a memory dump?
I think this is Bethesda coding practices biting them in the ass. Yeah. Maybe they'll be able to fix it. Maybe modders will be able to fix it. But yeah, it's kind of a purging memory to keep the game stable.
That's I can understand that.
Yeah. And, the solution there could be, maybe reduce the number of planets.
I don't think it's a number of planets. It's just I think it just, once you keep streaming assets in, and then you just kind of build all this this memory debt. Yeah. That eventually will come due. I don't think it's number of planets just so much as the sheer number of stuff, and I don't think they've efficiently coded a culling mechanism that starts getting rid of that out of memory. And, I don't know. I'm not a coder, but this is just from the stuff I've read.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And they could fix it, like they could come out with a
excuse me. Mike died.
Come out with a installment 1 of the season pass is Infinite Galaxy.
Yeah. I know that I've like bitched a lot about the game here. Like I recognize that. I think it just
it's
because I love
it. Speaks to its underbakedness.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like I love the game, I see the potential, and it's just I want the game to live up to that potential.
Yeah, it all just sounds like you said. It's just came out of the oven too soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a preemie.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
And unfortunately, in today's, economics, that they kind of have to do that. I mean, look at Cyberpunk. It did the same thing.
Yeah.
It came out way too soon just because the economy said they have to. Otherwise, they were going to be behind the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do recommend the game, especially if you're like on Game Pass, which
if
I
you
love
play it
Game Pass, by the way.
Yeah, if you can play it for free, go for it.
Yeah. I don't know if I would buy it now in this state.
Full price? Yeah, it is kind of a big ask.
Like if they drop the price, or the game gets some quality improvements, quality of life improvements.
Yeah,
then,
we will. If you listen to us, we will probably revisit if there's a major patch like that. And
Yeah, and I also put in a lot of hours, so I'm just also kind of taking a break from it. But I'm gonna see. I'm sure I'll jump back into it like next month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well, that being said, now that we've talked about that for a good bit, we're going to take a quick break and come back, and we'll talk to Mike, and we'll cover some of our segments. So we'll be right back. Hey, David, you know what makes our show great?
What's that, Kevin?
No ads. You know what would make it better?
What's that, Kevin?
Ads.
What if, and I'm just spitballing here, we do ads for independent creators at reasonable rates?
How reasonable?
Overly. How about $2 per episode pre-roll?
That is almost too reasonable.
Might as well go for it. Let's send everyone to the contact page for Supernatural Selection.
SupernaturalSelection.pod.com/contact?
Exactly. Just have them scroll down to the Advertise With Us section for more information.
That sounds great. Now let's record the ad.
Kevin?
Yes, David?
We just did.
Whoa. Welcome back. Now, before we get into Mike's thing, I just found something interesting that I wanted to share with you guys real quick. Now, in Star Trek, you both are familiar with the fact that the Picard family has a vineyard and has had a vineyard for centuries.
Yes.
I'm going to posit that Chateau Picard wine is shit.
Probably.
The reason I say that is because in the latest season of Picard, he keeps offering people bottles of wine. All right, so Shaw says he's more of a Malbec man. Worf calls it sour mead. Geordi says it's too dry. And his son Jack just straight up says, I would rather drink Jameson. I think he has awful wine.
I mean, no, because,
I think he's got Coats de Turd instead of Coats de Rhone.
I mean, look, there's plenty of, when I hear people talk about wine and say, notes of leather, I'm like going, wow, these people are crazy. Why would they want to drink something that tastes like leather?
Look, I've had a good French wine.
Yeah.
And I like to think that Picard's probably tastes like a dirty dish rag.
Well,
I
was also going to say, I find it comforting that, like, Picard, as, like, talented and as excellent as he is, him producing shitty wine is just like, no, that's good. That's good for his character.
Well, see,
You think it's the one thing he's bad at?
I think he's not actually, like, producing the wine because for a while there, it was running without him.
Yeah, well, and also,
I think
I want to know who was running the damn vineyard after Renee died.
I'm sure it was just, the same other people, because Renee wasn't running it by himself.
Oh, God, no.
It was just, the next in line, and they just kept running it for Jean-Luc.
Do you think he had indentured Romulan servants?
Probably not.
Okay.
I think the best thing that come out of Picard having a vineyard is Lower Decks with Boimler having a vineyard for raisins.
Yes.
A Rainyard.
A Rainyard. You've killed me again, Mike. All right. Speaking of Mike, what have you been distracting yourself with?
So I've finished Ranma one half, the TV stuff. Haven't gotten into the movies or OVA specials yet, but I finished that.
Now that one with the high jiggle factor that we were talking that we saw when we were younger, that was Niheo My Concubine, correct?
I don't know. I have not. Look, I supposedly I have not been able to find what I remember from that what we watched. So I don't know. It could be, but I'm not sure. So, and then also I've watched the first season of a Yuritsu Yatsura, the remake.
Mike, I looked it up. It is Ranma one half the movie to Niheo My Concubine.
Well, I will get to that eventually.
All right, sorry.
What did you Google? Jiggly anime boobs?
No, I just looked up Niheo My Concubine and looked at the cover, and I'm like, nope, that's it.
Well, I watched the first couple of minutes and did not seem familiar at all, so we'll see. But no, watching those two, okay, admittedly, Yuritsu Yatsura was the remake, but it is closely following the manga and TV show from the early 80s. Mm-hmm. Seeing those, just you see so much influence in what came eventually from anime, all the strong female characters with horns have direct freaking 02 from Darling in the Franxx. She even says darling the same way that Lum did in Yuritsu Yatsura. I mean, it's just all this strong heritage. I just having never seen it before, now just seeing it and going, wow, this is just where everything came from. It's like growing up watching modern American cartoons and never having seen Looney Tunes, and then going back and seeing Looney Tunes and then seeing where all that influence came from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's always funny to go back to the source, and you're like, wow, I guess everything I've ever seen is derivative.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's influenced by what they've seen and, the media they've ingested. Finally finished the first season of Chainsaw Man, which...
Oh, wow.
How is it?
I liked it. It got a little dark there. Obviously a series about devil hunters and which the devils are based on things people are afraid of. So there's Spider Devil and the Chainsaw Devil, which the titular character ends up bonding with, and things like that. So yeah, there was a character I was kind of shocked that died, and I'm wondering if it's for permanent or not, because all the other characters that died didn't have any as much backstory, but this character had a lot. So I'm going, is this person really dead? I'm kind of bummed about it, but we'll see. Let's see. Started last night on the so I'd watched the first season of Demon Slayer, enjoyed it. And I finished it before the movie came out, and I never watched anything past that. So I started basically there was the first season, and then there was the movie, and then there was the second season, which was basically the movie plus some extra stuff in there. So that's what I started last night.
Right.
Another one, kind of darker, but still, protagonist heroes trying to fight, evil and stuff like that.
Now, are any of these their seasons have just recently started? Because there are some shows I'm watching now that their seasons literally just started.
I try to stay away from that. I watched the first 3 episodes of Spy Family. I don't like that week to week grind. I prefer to have
yeah.
a season done before I start. That way it can like. I hate when I watch a couple episodes and then I hit a hard cutoff because there's no more.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm dealing with right now because I'm watching Spy Family as well, but also Rising the Shield Hero season 3, and then
I've heard about that.
I need to go.
Goblin Slayer season 2. Yeah,
also on my list. But yeah, like if I hit the end of a season, it's less painful than that hitting the end of what's available. Knowing, well, do I want to download this every week? Do I want to stream this every week and just do that week to week grind, or do I want to like forget about it and try to, start over? Not start over. Try to, wait for it to finish and then continue, or what?
well, I mean, it also kind of depends on the show too. Like, I think Spy Family is okay week to week because it's basically a sitcom.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So shows where it's kind of cliffhangery, I do worse with. Like Spy Family, I can see that because it's very episodic. There sometimes there'll be 2-parters or something like that, but for the most part, they're self-contained episodes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm having the issue of like the week to week thing isn't working for me regarding Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero though, because those are very much like
Continuous plot kind of thing.
Yeah, continuous plot sort of thing. Like I'm enjoying them, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, maybe I should wait for all the episodes. But then again, I can't wait because I love both those series. So
Understood.
No, I understand. There's a lot of shows that I've been like that with, and it gets me mad that I have to wait.
yeah, and the thing is, like, I have like my anime day where a bunch of my series are up, and then I watch those episodes, and then if I need to watch anything else, if I want to watch any other anime, I just go through my Lupin the Third collection because I'm right now working my way through all 5 Lupin series.
Wow.
Now, are you watching the subtitled or the dubbed?
So for series 2, I am watching the dub because the dub is fantastic.
Well, the guy that plays Lupin is the voice of Rick Hunter from Robotech. So, and he has been playing him since the get-go and is still playing him all the way up to Lupin the Third, the First.
Yeah, which is an amazing movie, by the way.
I need to see it.
It is really good, but also like the newer series, like not when I say newer, I'm talking about like shows 3, 4, and 5. Those weren't dubbed, from what I can tell. So I'm watching those subbed, but
Gotcha.
The third series is rough. Not my favorite of them, but like holy crap, 4 and 5 are amazing. Like I love the art style. Like the closest it's ever been to like Monkey Punch's art. It's fantastic. Yeah. So I highly recommend at least doing Lupin the Third, the 4th series. I think it was around 2015. And then they also did some fun mini-series. They had Goemon's Blood Spray, and they also did a series called A Woman Called Fujiko Min, which is amazing.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those mini-series tend to be the darker ones. But like it's still very recognizably like Lupin the Third.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, other thing, Lower Decks is currently in its 4th season. Enjoying that.
Yep, having a lot of fun. I love that they did an episode about caves, and they reused the same cave set in every flashback as a joke about them reusing the same cave set in every fucking episode.
Yeah, it was that cave set that has like the lower level and like a kind of some natural quote-unquote steps leading up to an upper level. You've seen it probably throughout Next Generation.
Yeah. It's definitely a reference to a fantastic fucking.
But they talked about everyone had like a cave story, and every cave story flashback was set in the same cave, just lit differently with different, props.
And it's supposed to be on a different planet.
Yeah.
It was great. It was
Yeah,
it was the kind of meta humor I love.
Because in animation they could have drawn the cave completely different, but it was a joke.
Yeah. One of my favorite references this season of Lower Decks, and it's kind of like a lazy reference because they're just referencing a title of something, but it was Parth Ferengi's Heart Place.
Yes.
Again, like it's a
Yes.
lazy reference because the show itself, the episode didn't really have anything
Had
to
nothing.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just the pun for the title or whatever, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
as a reference to. Yeah, I thought that was great. I caught that.
Yeah.
Also, it was just good to see Rom again.
Yeah.
I like baseball.
Rom and his Dabu girl wife. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Been watching Loki season 2. It's all right. I don't have a problem
need
with
to
it.
get back on that. I finished the first one and haven't gone back.
We should like do a Loki powwow. Oh, that's probably not the right word here. But we should do like a Loki
confab
discussion. Yeah, confab next week. Like I'm really enjoying it, but then again, I love timey-wimey shit.
Yeah.
Like the most recent episode though, that was like my favorite so far because yeah, we'll get into that next week.
Yeah.
I think next week
Kevin,
we should
you
talk
catch up
Loki.
and we'll talk
Okay,
about it.
we'll talk about it.
Let's see here. Haven't played many games really. Just kind of like dabbled in some, but not really like put nose to grindstone on any games. Need to get back to like Starfield or what was the other game I was playing? Jeez, I don't know.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah.
I finished Power Wash. I'm waiting for the
Yeah,
Warhammer.
Kevin
to
has
come out.
100%ed Power Wash and he wants the DLC.
Yeah, I want a clean Terminator power armor and the DeLorean. Bring it.
I don't know. I guess that's about it, other than, working on a friend's laptop, have it currently disassembled and gutted or all the way around my workspace here.
Are you going to lick the inside and then not tell him so that you know you licked the inside, but he doesn't?
Well, he's selling it, so, not really. If he's going to keep it, sure, I would like put a little bit of me somewhere in there, but, he's selling it on, so the motivation's not there.
Yeah, you don't want
Chaos
to inflict
magic.
that on someone else.
Chaos
True.
You
magic.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about everything I can think of.
Okay.
No, that was Mike's medley.
Yeah,
Mike's Medley.
we were running pretty long, so I figured
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
need
that's
to take
cool.
up a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to worry about time limits here. We're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Again,
I'm not worried about it, but I'm like going, I don't have to pad, so why not? Why
shows
pad?
will be as long as they have to be.
Until morale improves.
Yes. Yes, until morale improves. So, David, I would love to know some birthdays because now we're recording this on Sunday, October 22nd. And that was my father's birthday.
Aw.
And that's, just something I wanted to throw in there. I miss the old man.
Oh, I think you'll be pleased with some of the birthdays we have today.
Okay. Well, let's go.
So, top of the list here for us is Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, hey! I still remember when he was on the Ben Stiller show. But, his career has really blossomed from Mr. Show.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Mr. Show. But
Oh, God, yeah.
yeah.
No, the fucking, the one where it was the metal band and the kid jumped into the vat of acid.
Nothing beats like a Bob Odenkirk. God damn it.
Yeah, no, he has the best goddamn it in the business.
Yeah. Next up, we have Christopher Lloyd.
Really? Christopher Lloyd, I cannot explain how obsessed I was with Back to the Future when I first started high school. So, I adore Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, did I tell you the Christopher Lloyd story about when he was here in Jackson? Okay, one of our friends was working at a local con, and Christopher Lloyd was there, and so was Lou Ferrigno. And a mix-up happened where where Lou Ferrigno wanted turkey. So they brought him a turkey sandwich. And he didn't want the turkey sandwich. He said, I want 3 pounds of turkey.
Yeah. So what I understand is he wanted, X amount of turkey, half pound of turkey, but he still took the sandwich.
Yes.
Took the sandwich, but was like, but I want just turkey.
So, yeah. And it turns out the sandwich belonged to Christopher Lloyd. And
This is heavy.
Yeah. No. The guy that, was the liaison or whatever goes and tries to get turkey but can't. So he's talking to one of the people backstage, and someone comes in. He's like, "Where's the sandwich? This is Christopher Lloyd's sandwich." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
It wasn't labeled.
It wasn't labeled. So Lou Ferrigno wanted turkey, so I brought it to him." And so there's like, "All right, well, this thing's happened."
yeah.
So,
But
when they went to go tell Christopher Lloyd,
it turns out that every
no, you got to say it, Kevin. They go tell Christopher Lloyd, and what's Christopher Lloyd's reaction?
He said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Lloyd, you got Ferrigno'd."
Like Lou Ferrigno ate your sandwich.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno ate your sandwich, and he goes, "That motherfucker!"
Because apparently,
Every convention they do together, Lou Ferrigno steals Christopher Lloyd's fucking turkey sandwich.
Oh, that's great.
And I just love Christopher Lloyd, that motherfucker.
yeah, like who told us that story? Where did we get that story from?
A friend from Louisville.
Oh, wait a minute. He's the one that told you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
But nonetheless, great story.
I thought I heard it from a more close source than that.
Nope.
Well, we also have another big birthday today. Jeff
Who's that?
Goldblum.
Wow, a lot of
Wow.
big birthdays.
I guess life finds a way.
Or at least the sperm did.
I think he
does,
may, in fact, be one of the Fae.
Find a way.
Yeah. I think I described him as a fae in one of our episodes.
And I think they did that also on an episode of Haunted Objects.
Yeah.
I got crossed with a fly.
God, that is a long way
he's
to go
Goldbluming.
for that. He's in Gold Bloom.
All right.
Why do I have blue fur?
No, one of my favorite things about him was that Celebrity Secrets thing he did on Conan, where he said, people often ask me, is it pronounced Gold Bloom or Gold Blum? And I say, how dare you speak to me?
We also have Spike Jonze.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I still want to punch him for being John Malkovich.
This would have been the birthday of Annette Funicello.
Oh.
Director Jan de Bont.
I'm not familiar with Jan de Bont.
Director of Speed.
Oh, wow. I love Speed, actually.
January 6th participant Jay Johnston, who was also on Mr. Show.
Oh.
That's what's his name? The Italian guy, right?
The one from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jimmy
guy.
Pesto.
Jimmy Pesto. Yeah.
It's the most fucking Jimmy Pesto thing in the world that Jay Johnson was on January 6th.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it was. Like when I heard that, I was like, wow, life imitates art.
Yeah.
And then also would have been Curly Howard's birthday.
Oh, man. He's a classic.
Hey, Mo. I'm going fishing.
You got worms?
Yeah, but I'm going anyway. Woo, 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 woo.
And and then you gentlemen enjoyed Weird Science, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's also Suzanne Snyder's birthday, and she, of course, was Deb.
Was that Lisa?
Yeah.
No, Deb.
Hubba. No?
Wait.
Who was she?
Deb.
Deb. Who's
Deb?
Well, one of the girls that
one of the,
I think
one of
the
the
one
girlfriends.
One of the girlfriends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, because
Okay.
when
Yeah,
you
that's
mention
fine.
Weird Science, everybody thinks of Kelly LeBrock, but
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I don't
right,
remember
Yeah.
her.
yeah.
She helped make me a man.
So yeah, those are the birthdays. You know, some big ones on there.
Yeah, no, really.
Some favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, those
Definitely.
big names. October just pushing up the celebs.
Getting you celebrity birthdays pushed in.
Well, you know, February is like one of the coldest months. You know, you got to keep warm somehow, and then that leads to babies.
I have an uncle whose birthday is in October, so you know, we know what my grandparents were doing.
Oh God, I don't want to think about your grandparents. Jeez.
Yeah, just
I want to think about my grandparents.
And Kevin, also remember he is a very autumn baby. Like
who is?
My youngest uncle.
Oh, okay, him. Yes.
Yeah. So his parents were really old when they were going.
I know they were. I don't like I said. I don't want to think about your grandparents slamming. I want to think about my grandparents slamming. No, I'm kidding.
I don't think you guys heard me mention cream pie grandma earlier. So
Oh my God! Shut up.
Well, my grandparents were Catholic, so they were practicing the rhythm method.
Oh, so they had the breed kink.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Fuck.
Oh God.
Literally.
They must. I mean, considering the length of time between the second to last kid and the last kid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they must have just got drunk or something that night.
On communion wine.
Yeah.
They were in the confessional.
Hey, baby, why don't we push these beds together and see what happens?
I just picture the priest sitting there going, "Oh yes, this is so hot. This is the hottest thing I've seen in years."
That sounds like a subgenre of like glory hole videos that you could probably like make a lot of money on.
Shit, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Right?
Confession hole video.
Confession hole. Oh God. Oh Christ.
Yes,
Literally.
my son.
Oh, do 50 Hail Marys, you dirty bitch.
I've sinned, and I'm about to sin again.
Yeah. Yep. Oh God. Well, let's do a game, shall we?
Okay, that sounds fun.
That sounds cleaner than what we're doing now.
Yeah, sort of. So I got to thinking about this, and I don't have an answer for it yet. I'll go last. Mm-hmm. So, hypothetical situation: you get isekai'd. Mm-hmm. You get hit by truck coon, and you wake up in an isekai situation. You wake up in another universe.
Yeah.
What universe do you wake up in, and what are you?
Is it...
You can be human.
And we get to decide? Like...
Well, like, if you had your druthers.
Okay. Got any thoughts, David?
I mean, the initial impulse is a harem anime, but I'm not going to go there.
You'd want to wake up as Tenchi, admit it.
Yeah, or, you know...
I mean, like, if I was going to choose an anime, yeah, Tenchi.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do we wake up just as ourselves?
Well, that's the thing. You can either wake up as yourself, you can wake up as a vending machine.
Because
I was reincarnated as a spider.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. You can be anything.
I was reincarnated as Christopher Lloyd's turkey sandwich.
Oh my God. That motherfucker.
So, I mean, I can go. I can go. I think...
Sure.
Well, how about a flippant question first? Can I be reincarnated as Scarlett Johansson's pants?
You could be reincarnated as one of her character's pants.
No. Okay, go ahead.
Not Black Widow? Wow. Okay.
So,
No, just, like I said, it was a flippant question.
like,
Okay.
my initial impulse is... I would like to be reincarnated in the world of One Piece as a pirate, but also I realize that the world of One Piece is a post-apocalyptic hellscape of like a really evil government that controls everything. So it wouldn't be pleasant, but at
And
least
would
I'd
you
be a
want to
pirate.
get your ass kicked by Luffy?
But if your heart's pure and you ate a devil fruit already, you're golden.
Yeah, no, I think being a pirate would be fun.
you can
know,
at least join the Straw Hat crew.
Well, I don't know if I'm Straw Hat material, but maybe the Straw Hat Grand Fleet or whatever. But it also makes you wonder, like, well, what would the devil fruit be? And I don't really have an answer for that.
Are we making One Piece sonas now?
I think that would be fun. I think we should come up with our own like crew. I was thinking about that earlier today, actually.
Wow, that's
Like,
funny.
Yeah. But no, I think, as far as the world of One Piece goes, yeah, even though it is like a post-apocalyptic hellscape in many regards, I think it would be fun to be a pirate.
Well, in One Piece for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Or,
mean, like a real
Somali.
pirate, you just have skirt. Oh my God, dude! Look at me! Look at me! I'm the captain now.
A Somali pirate piece.
Oh God! I'm going to be king of the Somali pirates. Okay, I'm wrong for that. So, Mike, how about you?
Problem is, it comes back to my standard answer of what fiction I'd like to be in. I mean, I think it's always going to come back to Star Trek, just because it's like a decent place. It's like a post-scarcity utopia. I could be some Joe Blow living on Earth and be pretty good, or I could be in Starfleet and be doing cool shit and maybe dying in a transporter accident. But who cares?
Sure, it's still Star Trek. Mike, I'm gonna give you one addition to that.
Yeah.
If it were to go bad, I would say you'd get reincarnated as any object Riker uses on the holodeck.
Oh
As his
God.
chair. No,
Just constantly covered.
now, see, I think Mike has to pick an anime. Because that's like, I
Why
think
does
the
Mike
central...
have to pick an anime? Mike's
Well,
a
yeah.
huge Star Trek fan.
Well, yeah, I mean,
okay, so
yeah,
if I was-
like, Star Trek is a fine answer, but, like, I think, if we're dealing
It's
with,
also
like,
kind of
isekai-
boring and no.
Yeah.
All right, so an anime.
The Jiggly episodes of Ranma.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, see, it's more fun that way.
Jeez. I'm guessing it would have to be something more like, shonen, like showing up in just some romance anime probably would be, boring because it'd just be normal.
But even, like, a cozy, comfy anime, even then, it's just like, no, this seems, like, enjoyable.
I don't know. I mean, just because I've seen it recently, like, Yuritsu Yatsura, that's like a bananas ass, world where like aliens are just like horny and doing shit all over the place.
Oh, there you go, horny aliens.
Yeah.
Literally, with horns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both with physical horns and libido.
Well, there
Okay.
you go.
All right. Well, you got two there, and that's fine.
Yeah. Kevin?
Me, I'm gonna do two here. I've got like an anime answer and a non-anime answer. All right, so let's go with the non-anime answer. First off, Wheel of Time.
You would
book
be dead.
version. Yeah, no, I'd be dead as hell. I'd be a dead motherfucker. That's fine. It'd be fun for a few minutes at least.
No, it'd be like dirty, fucking,
Well,
medieval.
look. Here's the thing: if I get to be there, I get to say I'm not dead automatically.
Well, yeah.
You wake up, you're like, ooh, Wheel of Time, and then, oh no.
Oh,
You're Kevin.
oh no! I'm shitting in a bucket.
You're either a peasant or you're a channeler and you get to go mad.
Or I join one of the armies.
And you die.
And then die in
shut
battle. Yeah.
Kevin, I love you, but you're not a fighter.
No, that's true. Join one of Rand's schools. There you go. I just coast on good looks. And by good looks, I mean I don't have any like obvious deformities, so I'm already a catch.
Oh, true, yeah.
Like I don't have jug ears, and my nose isn't the size of a tomato, so I'm already a step ahead of half of the unnamed cast.
And you have like basic knowledge of stuff like, steam power and stuff. You could probably like make some advancements there.
Oh, it could certainly cause an explosion that would scald someone.
Yeah.
Sure. But as for anime, I got to thinking, that Dragon Ball would be fun, but I remembered how many times everyone on the planet Earth is fucking decimated and has to be brought back by the Dragon Balls. I was
Right.
like, how about no? Fucking no. And then I was like, why not just Tenchi Muyo?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like...
More horny aliens.
Well, it's more of just like, I like the characters. You know?
And they're
Yeah.
horny aliens.
Yeah.
God damn it, Mike.
Hey, never discount the power of horny aliens.
I think I have a second answer. It's another anime, but I don't
What's
know.
that?
Honestly, the world of Lupin the Third, because again, like I'm not rich, he's not going to steal shit from me, and I could just read about the cool shit he does in the newspaper.
Oh.
Yeah.
It'd just be like living. It'd
It's-
be like living my life, except it's like, oh, every week,
Except
hey,
Lupin's
this
out there.
crazy motherfucker
No.
is doing something cool.
I think if since it's an isekai, you'd have to come back as at least a supporting character.
I come back as officer working with Zenigata.
Oh, God.
That would be entertaining
hear-
as hell.
All you ever do is see him say, Lupin!
Yeah, no, I'm the dude driving the cop car, following him around.
Yeah, the one that gets smashed into a telephone pole.
It's an isekai, so you're getting screen time. You're at least getting like 10 minutes every season of screen time.
Okay, so I'm Zenigata's driver.
Yeah. You know, that's actually not a bad one.
Honestly, yeah, that sounds pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah, you get at least one moment a season. That would be pretty cool, actually. Man, I'm jealous. Okay, fine. Fine. Bubblegum Crisis, then.
Oh God, that's
Oh, no, that's
corporate
awful.
hellscape dystopia.
Yeah, but the Night Sabers are out there.
Well, I mean, at least I get to look at Fujiko. So I win.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, no, that's true. That's true.
Kevin gets to look at girls in battle armor.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's just not as
Yeah,
fun.
except when you ask them to step on you, they might kill you.
Yes.
Mike, you're the one with the Bubblegum Crisis poster hanging on the wall right next to you.
Yeah. Well, she's half out of the armor, so
And it's hot. All right. Well, that's about it for this week.
That was fun.
So, it was.
It's good to be back, gentlemen.
It
Yes.
is. It's good to be back.
back in the saddle again.
Yeah. So, we like to end the show with a bit of a positive affirmation. Mm-hmm. So, this week I'm just going to close with, you never know how many people's lives you're going to affect positively just by being there.
Aw.
So, remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, yeah. I thought long and hard on that one.
no, I like it. Usually we're kind of jokey with it, but no, I think, it's
Yeah.
been a while since we've done this. It's good to, a little sincerity never hurt.
Yeah. And just, a little reference to another podcast I used to listen to before it ended. I'm glad you're alive.
Oh,
So
I'm
everybody
glad
out
you're
there,
alive.
I'm glad every one of you that's listening is alive. And Mike, I'm glad you're alive.
I'm glad I'm alive too because, I got a lot of shit I want to do.
Yeah, because you pay part of the rent.
Yes, that too.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Good luck climbing out of the distraction hole. And
we
we'll-
put you firmly in the.
Yep.
There's
Feel
mud
free
at the
to-
bottom, or at least we think it's mud.
It's
We've been in
poop
here
hole.
for a while.
It's poop hole.
Questionable what this muck at the bottom is, but
It's a poo-poo mud hole. Good night, everybody.
good night.
Goodbye.